Okay. There should be sound now. Okay. Oh dear. Alright. Let me know if there is sound now. Um, yes. Okay. There should be sound. Let me know in the comments below um, what there is. How long until he realizes we can't hear you? Um, does it work? Does it work? Sorry, guys, for the delay. Um, is there sound? Yes, awesome. That's fantastic to hear. Thank you so much for the heads up. Yeah, I've been trying recently to not look at the chat while I talk because I get distracted pretty easily. But in this case, it did not work in my favor. I have no idea what I was talking about. Let me try to remember. Yeah, my audio setting was on the wrong thing. What was I trying to talk about? Oh man, that was a pretty good little riff. Um, I want to create and post a video today, but I feel like no one will care, so I keep delaying my ideas. I think that's... What if people don't care yet about your content? But, you know, what you need to ask yourself is, why do you care, right? Why do you care? Why do you want to make the video? Is it because you want to reach out to other people? Is it because you want to help them? Is it because you're so passionate about this topic? Is it because you want to grow in this topic? I think it's actually okay if no one really cares at the moment, right now, about your content, because that can change. That can change based on the effort that you put into things. You know, we always have big, like, oh, I wish I could have 10,000 people, 100,000 people watching my channel. But then, you know, when you actually start doing it, you realize what you really need is to be able to be making something you're so passionate about, and you're doing it in a sustainable way, and you're doing it with the right mindsets, all that sort of stuff, so that you could actually keep doing it, even if no one was watching, even if no one was cheering you on. And that's sort of the tough muscle that's really hard to work out. And one of the things I admire the most about creators who have been doing this a long time, it's not, oh man, I wish I had the views you had. Oh man, I wish I had the equipment you had, any of that sort of stuff. It's really, I really admire how in the hundreds and thousands of times you've seen your channel dip. You've seen your views go down. You've seen the hate comments. You've seen the controversy. You've seen the whatever. You made 100 videos and no one was watching, but you still pushed through anyway. I really admire that quality, which is why a lot of times, I mean, I have that fear or self-doubt as well. But I have to remind myself, at the end of the day, it's okay if people don't care, because I care. It's the same way, like, it's okay if people don't like me, you know, to the biggest, best, you know, potential right now, because I like myself. So that's what I would say on that topic. I think what I was saying earlier was about, I don't remember how I segued into it, but it's been really cool seeing in the Facebook group. It's been a really cool place for us to discuss a little deeper. Oh, I remember what we said. This is the last live stream of the month. I can't believe that we, you know, have been doing this for the past 4 or 5 weeks. I think it's going to change to every other week, or something like that, going forward. Every week doesn't quite make sense right now, but it has been fun hanging out with you guys. I've been learning a lot how to talk differently to the camera, how to interact, but it's been really cool seeing some of that community discussion a little bit more, getting to know you guys on a closer basis. In the Facebook group, as I said earlier during the muted part, we've been able to see, or it's been cool to see the same exact thing. I want to get practice after each video. You know how I sort of end them with like a question? Usually there's like a question that's like a dun dun dun, you know. I normally it would just be hopeful, you know, hoping that that question was helpful for you, or I would just have to guess or theorize about how that clicked away and affected your content. But with the Facebook group and sometimes with these live streams, we're able to see a little bit more of that aha moment. We're like, for instance, in the video two videos ago, I think I asked about write 5 I believe statements. Write 5 I believe statements. And it's really interesting how during consulting calls, or when I have these conversations with creators, it doesn't actually take very long for an I believe statement to pop out. You would think that it would take hours and hours of clarifying your why and your mission and all this sort of stuff. But if you just say, hey, what are some I believe statements you can make that relate to your story, your life, topics that you're passionate about, that inspire you, you know, a group of people that you care about or you feel are left behind. A lot of times they're like, well, I believe that da 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 da. I believe da 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 da. And it's really interesting to see how easily that flows, and how we really do have such strong core values, beliefs. And so my question back, whenever I hear these I believes, is look at how your I believes are completely different from this other person's. And you're both just as passionate. You are more unique than you think. And then 2, which of these, let's say 3, 4, 5 I believe statements are obvious to your channel right now? And which other ones maybe can you highlight a little bit more? So a lot of times we're like, I believe that creators should blah, 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 blah. I believe, you know, community should, you know, whatever. Those are beliefs you have, but are those mission statements, core driving values, actually obvious to your audience on your YouTube channel? And so I often have this sort of self-check where it's like, well, I believe this, I feel this really strongly. How can I make this more obvious or present in my content? Thank you guys so much for being here. Hey Joe, awesome to see you here. I'm a big fan of all the stuff you do. I think your stuff is so awesome. Yeah. Well, if you have any questions, would love to hear what you guys are thinking about. I'm curious if you, which YouTubers, creators are inspiring you right now, making you pause, feel fresh and different on the platform right now. I've been noticing a lot of that energy a lot more on TikTok actually than YouTube. But you know, I'm only one person with one ear to the ground. I would love to hear your thoughts on which creators are inspiring you right now, feel fresh to you right now, are telling their story in a way that catches your attention, or that you for some reason can't stop binging, that sort of stuff. I would love to hear your thoughts because, as you know, I research that stuff all the time. This past video that I posted today, if you haven't seen it, would highly recommend. I'm trying out a new format where I show my discovery process alongside you. So there's a little bit of a react portion in there. I was pretty hesitant about it, but it was actually really fun. You'd be surprised how much I am like surprised and delighted and laughing and all this sort of stuff when I'm studying for my videos. And so I figured, why not try actually showing that, especially with Kelly Stamps, who's a really funny YouTuber. And so it was interesting trying to construct the video differently based on that. But I actually think it was really, I liked it. I thought it was fun. It's going to take some more refining, but I think that a lot of you guys in the comments all mentioned how your favorite part was actually mostly seeing my reactions to things. So I'm planning on working on that, refining that format a little bit in the future. I've been thinking a lot about how I can make my content more entertaining. And again, like, I'm really hesitant to say it like that because when you think entertaining, it's like, oh, how can I have bright lights in the background and have more jokes prepared? That's how, no, no, no. What I mean is the way that you tell the story, how can I make it more and more universally compelling, like universally fun to watch? I've been surprised, certain videos are so niche and specific about YouTube and YouTube stuff and details and algorithm and all that sort of stuff, where someone who doesn't understand YouTube at all or the platform, they don't connect with those videos at all. And then there's the mindset videos that everyone can get behind. How can I find an in-between where it is specific and it's helpful about a specific creator, but there's just some universally fun to watch elements in it where even if you're not tracking the whole thing, you can have fun with it. It's in the same way that I actually learned that from the Sudoku channel, right? The fact that they are able to make Sudoku fun in this very universally compelling way, that really inspired me. Because when you see their videos, they are so complicated. Like, the logic that they have to do in those puzzles is so complicated. But for some reason, it's just like a Bob Ross video, where even though you can't paint like him, you just like watching him. You are excited seeing him excited. So how can I show more of that in my content? Because I think that some of that human interaction and passion and delight and surprise and all that sort of stuff is just universally fun to watch. So I needed to get a little bit out of my comfort zone, show a little bit more of my real reaction stuff. And it was fun. It was a completely different editing thing than normal, but I had fun with it. If you haven't gotten a chance to see it, I made a video about Kelly Stamps earlier today. She popped up in the how to grow on YouTube niche, but she's actually not like that at all. She's very much like a comedy. Well, in the video we talk about it, she's very hard to categorize because she's sort of like comedy, vlog, lifestyle, very dry humor, all of that sort of stuff. So, it was really fun getting to laugh with her content and learn from it. One thing, well, I'll talk about that in a second. What are your thoughts on TikTok and how to go about moving that audience to your YouTube channel? I don't know how big of an audience you have on TikTok, but I mean, I've had a lot of trouble. I haven't had the focus with TikTok. I love the platform. I really love the platform. I've seen some friends do really well transferring that audience to YouTube. Other creators, though, have a lot more trouble even just turning it into business or turning it into interest beyond the, prank or funny, thing that they've got going on there. I think it's a lot of the same elements that go along with that I talk about on this YouTube channel, which is, yeah, it's awesome that your prank video or informational video or whatever got views on TikTok, especially with how that algorithm works, but how can you get them actually curious about you, the person? And a lot of that comes to showing your discovery process, showing why that you're not just a dictionary. That's one of the easiest ways to make content is to make blog style, dictionary style content where it's like 5 tips to blah 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 blah, and that's not bad. It's just that's not something that is easily conducive to them being interested in you, the actual face, the actual human. So you need to find ways to weave your humor in there, your personality in there, And then I think if you actually, and I mean, again, this is a lot of this is just common sense. If you give them something to they would actually want to see on the other side on your YouTube channel. So if you tease them on TikTok and then bring them over to here, or if you show them something super awesome on TikTok and then you're like, there's 40% more on YouTube. I've seen that work quite a bit. I've actually found a lot of really awesome YouTubers because of TikTok, where I see their like little teaser on TikTok and I go, actually, I sort of want to see that. And so I go to YouTube to sort of Google it. I love that bit in your video, the reaction bit. I'm really glad it worked for you. I was a little bit nervous about it, but I'm glad it worked. Why were you hesitant to add a different perspective to your content strategy? How did you overcome that hesitation? That's a really good question. I mean, I believe that I will always have things that, with my content and my content strategy and whatever, that make me pause and make me have to evaluate whether that's the right fit for me or if I'm brave enough to even try that. I've gotten a little bit numb and used to that hesitation and nervousness because it's worked out pretty much every single time. We tried it, again, like I probably contribute to this, but we have this idea that our content creation strategy is, okay, let's figure this out. But in reality, it's always evolving. It's always evolving. I had such a clear idea and purpose for my YouTube channel when I really switched gears in October or so. But that was before I even talked about YouTube niche stuff. That's before I even like had any idea about the content smoothie stuff. That was before I had made a bunch more creator breakdown videos. And so a lot of times I see these, I've been, with practice and training, I've become a lot more open to experimenting because I've seen the downside is actually really, really low. Like, I was nervous to take a clip from a live stream and post it and see what would happen. And then it turned out a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, this blew my mind. And they would never have seen it if I didn't pull that clip from the live stream. So even though it was repetitive content, it was actually good in this case. There was one time I posted a conversation with Kevin and I was like, it's 27 minutes long. Are people actually going to watch it? And then, people did. And then I've tried other things and they haven't worked. And I just immediately stopped doing them. Now it's become more, okay, this sort of like blob of my content is in its very early stages. And I need to experiment a lot to adapt and evolve and get those, push-up reps in so that I can make it what I want. And it doesn't, I think I'm going to have the same exact mentality even 5 years from now. I think it's actually really healthy to always think of yourself as in the beginning stages of your content creation strategy, because that's when you're most open to thinking outside the box, rethinking things. Oh, wait, I'm not showing my humor on my YouTube channel. Oh, wait, I'm not showing, I'm not even sharing about my story on YouTube. How can I fix that? Oh, wait, I'm not showing this side of my you need to stay a little open-minded, and so I try to really I'm very rarely hesitant actually about changing the content creation strategy, because it's not usually like a split, like a completely different direction. It's always building on it, it's always evolving it to something better usually. That being said, that was probably oversimplifying things. Sometimes it's not always about trying a new format, like fitting a new gear in the system. It's actually more about a direction. So, when I realized that my content wasn't going to be as much about analyzing the words in the communication breakdown. Like I could, but that wasn't the main focus of it. It wasn't like a script writing channel. And so I was like, oh, okay, what is it then? You know? And so I had to, you know, and then when the niche stuff started catching on, I go, oh wow, people are actually, this is actually a huge problem. Like people really struggle trying to figure out how to make their YouTube channel fit their personality and stand out. So I was like, okay, how can I create a system with this? Oh wait, this is a trajectory. And so those take more clarification. That takes a little bit more hesitation, I think, because that's where am I steering the boat? And that is something your audience really can't help you with. That's something your audience doesn't know the answers to, but you have to decide. And so that's why I have actually quite a few like long directions that I'm steering this boat with my YouTube channel that I'm most focused on. And that's the dance that I'm sort of doing the most, at least in terms of where my head's at a lot. I'm like, man, okay, how can I, that's sort of out of reach right now. How can I get the boat over there? Like, how's it going to lead there? Or let's say I write about something someday, you know, soon with my YouTube channel. What would I actually go in depth about? What are some things that warrant me writing about things, exploring things a little deeper? Okay, you know, and sort of let it clicking around in my head. Hey Rachel, hey Fred, awesome to see you here. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Would love to help out however I can. One thing that came to mind earlier, you know, I mean, the past 24 hours, a lot of it was consumed by the Kelly Stamps video. So I didn't prepare like a full in-depth lesson like I did last week. But what comes to mind is how many really hard, frustrating, discouraging things led to the confidence and workflow and like, okay, I'm going to put like very much in quotes, like success that I'm feeling right now with a lot of my stuff. So, I mean, even coming down to most of the big jumps with my YouTube channel in terms of improvement, in terms of pacing and flow and all that sort of stuff, it came from like 100 micro tweaks. And those tweaks usually came with a lot of pain. Like, those tweaks came with a lot of frustration. I remember, like, okay, how do I say this clearly? I have filmed so many videos where it's just like endless take, like 4 hours of video, like filming, like 5 hours of filming for a, 10-minute video. And it's hot and it's, or I end up scrapping the video or it ends up being like a 3 days later I try a take and then it works and I scrap like all 5 hours of that work. And it's easy to look at when that happens as extremely just like, what's even the point of this? Like, this is so horrible. Like, this is not sustainable. It's not gonna work. It's not, all this sort of stuff. But I had to reframe that as, look, I'm pushing through when it's hard now so that someday it can be easy. And that has totally paid off. Like, there are so many things that are easy for me right now, either in terms of stamina or being able to organize my thoughts or talk like a script even though I haven't scripted anything out. And that didn't come out of nowhere. That came from like 50 videos of it being horrible. Like, horribly horrible and almost seeming hopeless. But if you just sort of push through, it gets a little bit better every time, to the point where you start not noticing how hard it is, or you just figure out a way around it. So that was the same thing with thumbnails. The first couple times I tried making a better thumbnail, it took like it was like 3, 4, 5 hours of trying to do it. And I was like creatively drained. It's like, oh, what angle's best? What, whatever, all this sort of stuff. And on the outside, it looked completely pointless. Like, why are you trying to do this if you're not a graphic design person? Why are you trying to do this if it's not even going to make a big difference? But that practice when it seemed hopeless, and that pushing through when it seemed hopeless and discouraging, actually was monumental for me being able to do a lot of the things that I'm doing right now. And so whenever I have one of those videos that's just like, oh my gosh, that took so much out of me. Oh my gosh, that was so hard. Oh my gosh, that, like, I don't think I can do another one of those. I try to not look at that as a failure. I try to not look at that as hopeless or discouraging or frustrating. I try to look at that as practice. And it's hard when you are practicing and not seeing results over and over and over again, but it's worth it. Like, even with the YouTube channel not like exploding right now, I'm like, I have so many things I'm working on to improve though. I'm growing and I'm learning so much right now. I'm like, this is my practice, so that in the same way that I talk about having to do less retakes with my videos, in comparison to 2 years ago, a year ago, in the same way, I'm going to be able to point back to this moment and go, it was frustrating. I didn't know how it was going to go. I wish that video got 1,000 times more views, but I still believed in it. I still cared about it enough to keep going. And so you can too. Like, I'm happy that I'm able to build up this muscle now, and build up that stamina and persistence now, because this is all just foundation stuff for later when things get a lot more serious, and get a lot more serious in terms of when overnight a bunch of crazy stuff happens, random, bursts of attention comes to the YouTube channel. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to go. So I'm just acting like it's go time now, and it will be. I'm having fun with it. That's the thing. Like, a lot of times we ask ourselves, it's like, I'm feeling down about things. I'm feeling uninspired with things. Well, like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain. I'm just rambling at this point, but making videos on YouTube is so much not about the making videos part. It's so much about how are we doing? What is our purpose? Like, it all starts with us. So I try to really keep that in check, because if I keep that in check, then whatever happens in the surroundings, I know I'll be okay. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking for a second because that was a lot. I generally have to script my videos as my content is very specific, but I've been thinking about at the end, instead of scripting my outro, I could give myself some bullet points and then just go for it. I think that's a great idea. I don't know how you are, but I would assume with the animator personality where you want things to look good and be right, and you put a lot of time and effort into it, it's really good to swing a little bit in the other direction where you let go of some of that perfectionism and just let yourself loosen up and improvise or riff or something like that. I don't know if you know, Fred, but I did stop motion videos for years in middle school, that I would spend literally like 2 months on a 10-minute video, maybe 3 months. If you want to look it up, it's ESEK64 is the name of the channel. It's a Lego stop motion channel, and that was back in the old days when the algorithm was completely different, so there was lots of views on the channel. It was really fun to make, but that was when I was probably around your age, so 12, 13, 14. And again, that's another example of that stuff was so foundational to now. Like, maybe my stamina would be horrible if I hadn't practiced in middle school, sitting for hours and hours and hours, just moving these little Lego things around, working on a project for 2 months, and and just being patient with it. I have no idea. So yeah, that would be my advice. I noticed for me that creativity is breathing. Most people focus too much on breathing out, making content, but forget to breathe in. Take it. Oh my gosh, you guys are the best. You guys are so deep. Thank you, Andy, for that. I really like that. So when videos aren't just coming to me, I step away for a bit, and in a short time, I'm back and making videos again. Very encouraging, Eric. I've enjoyed the few videos I've made. Then I started thinking about views and numbers, and my videos fell apart. I have to start again making videos for fun. Yes, 100%. And like, what I want everyone watching right now, a lot of the analytics I'm seeing right now are completely broken for how this call is doing. I hope it's all going great. But what I want everyone seeing this call to do is, when you learn a lot of these lessons or make these mindset shifts on YouTube, a lot of times you're going to switch back. Like, I need to not check my analytics. Oh, wait, I need to pay attention to my analytics. Oh, wait, I need to, there's just all these back and forth. You're always, I need to be confident in myself. Oh, wait, I'm doubting myself. Oh, I need to be confident in myself. It's just switching back and forth. And so what you need to be ready for is, it's a lot more of a marathon type of thing where you're like, oh, this is hard. Oh, it's still hard. And I have to keep putting in that energy to keep myself on track. Some things are big realization shifts where you just stick with it, and it changes your life forever. But a lot of times, I found with the YouTube stuff, it's a lot more of a, oh my gosh, how can I get this back on course? Oh my gosh, how can I center this again? Oh my gosh, I'm getting off track again. So it takes a lot of, when you see this problem coming up again, don't be discouraged. That's normal. Yeah. Oh man, I can't believe being on YouTube when I was 12. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Like, seeing comments pour in on your video when you're 12 and people are like, where's the next part? I don't know. It was just, it felt like the wild. It felt so weird. Because at that time, I think also, like, there wasn't, like, the iPhone had just come out. And so this whole, like, internet technology, like, the whole way things are right now, it wasn't the case. And so it just, I don't know how to describe it from a 12-year-old perspective, but it was like, it was so weird. It was like, I don't know. There's something weird about my age group where we sort of saw how things were before, like VHS tapes and all that sort of stuff. And just a very more manual way of doing things. And then suddenly it was like, wait, you can do anything. Wait, you can share with anyone. Wait, you can make your own TV show. And it's like, what? So, yeah, no, it's pretty weird. Do you think there's a testament to making longer form content before being a more consistent creator, like just finding your ropes before jumping in? I think we're all finding our ropes. I think we're all in progress, and it works great to think of ourselves like that. I feel like I want to share my experiences with parenting, but feel like I'm taking out half of my viewer potential. Men, do you guys think so too? No, I think you're fine. I think, there's a lot of women on YouTube, and if you're able to capitalize on that niche, that's super awesome. And even so, a lot of times when I've talked to a lot of my female creator friends at all different ages, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, a lot of times they've really doubled down on showing their life or gardening or vlogs or their business or whatever. And they've been really surprised how many men watch their content to actually learn from it, learn more of the female perspective. My friend Gina does vlogs in Australia, and she's just so authentically herself, and she's just sharing, all this sort of cool stuff. And it seems very female oriented. Like, why would any guys watch this? It's her talking about, bras and kids and all, all these different, her friends and like all these different things, but it's very from her perspective. But she's found like a large proportion of people watch her content as guys, and they would message her saying that exact thing, which is like, I just watch you because I'm learning stuff about how I can get along better with my wife, or like what her perspective is like from you. So, I don't really care about these parts of your vlog, but I really do care about the way you think. And that's why on my YouTube channel I talk a lot about, you'd be surprised how many people are willing to go into your world and get excited about it, even if it's so different from them, as long as you make your world accessible to them. So, just like the Sudoku channel, like that normally would not work, but he was really good at translating that for us, showing us what was cool about that, giving us access to his world, and so it worked. Same thing with Kelly Stamps. On the outside, if you saw her walking on the street, you'd probably think she was quiet, introverted, reserved, not funny. But she is really funny, and the things she notices and the ways she's able to be herself are really funny. So she gave us access to her world, and it works. Give access to your world, and you'd be surprised what you're able to relate with other people. I totally had that with my latest video. I took days on the thumbnail drawing. I'm out of practice. When a friend to help clips and had to overlay the audio. Okay, I just reading very quickly. It's real life. I say go for it. Yes, I agree with that advice, Rachel. Thanks for the encouragement. Okay, will do. Okay, I'm gonna jump to the end because love the discussion you guys are making. Wait a second, let me see this. Yeah, my dad wanted to post a video to one of my stop motion videos when I was 12, 13, 14. He's like my biggest champion for Paula, if my dad does that, that's totally fine. He's like my biggest champion for like being creative and like going for it. So as well as my mom. So it's just really fun seeing they're able to see this whole different side of me. On like, they get so excited about my live streams because they're like, like, we don't see that a lot. You at home, you're more, you've already spent all your energy, you've given it to your friends, your hobbies, your passions, all that sort of stuff. We just see it snuck in there. You're more like letting your guard down and just completely just here. So on YouTube, they're able to see a different side of me that's more connected to the outside world, that's more trying new things, that's more encouraging people, that sort of stuff. And so it's been fun. I remember the first video I made for my YouTube channel. I showed it to them a day before I posted it, and they were like, what? Like, they were like, who the heck is that? Like, and it's funny because looking back, that didn't seem like a very confident me or like a very, loud, expressive me. But YouTube brings out a different side of you. Again, it's developing, nurturing a side of you that's more confident and charismatic and self-aware and curious and all these sort of things. So yeah, I really love my parents and my family so much. Robo Hobo Productions, yeah, of course I remember you. You're super awesome. You're, I think, the first person who ever donated money to the channel, which was mind-blowing. Thank you so much for being here. It's amazing how important patience is, especially with animations, but the satisfaction of seeing a completed video makes it completely worth it. It's cool to see your old channel. I'll have a look. Yeah, okay. You'll be able to see my funny voices I got to do when I was like 12, 13, and my voice was changing. Didn't mean to put your dad's comment in the timeout. No worries. I do reaction videos to African comedy only because one of my African comedy reactions blew up and now I have a lot of African subscribers. But I don't want to niche down to this genre. But that is all my subscribers want, so I'm in a sticky situation right now. Yeah, that is a sticky situation. Again, it's a sticky situation, but at the end of the day, right, you are the one making the videos. You are the one having to sit with your channel for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. So think about where you want to steer the boat. Because at the end of the day, yes, they're asking for this type of content. But what if those thousands of people, what if those hundreds of people aren't your ultimate audience? What if you're, I don't know your numbers yet, but I mean, let's say you have 5,000 people excited about the African React content. But if you pivoted to something else that was a better fit and more sustainable and something you're more excited about, there was an audience of 100,000, 50,000 waiting for you on that. And so in that sense, that 50,000 audience and that purpose will ultimately like dwarf or overshadow it'll make the decision clear. A lot of times we have to decide what we want and take the hit. You know, it's sacrificing for sure. I don't know your exact situation, how much you depend on the AdSense and all that sort of stuff, but I at least am a big believer in, okay, I'm going to take the hits now to make sure I design a foundation that I'm super excited about, that's super sustainable, and that I can keep being excited about and adapt and grow with for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, because I know my mission statement, I know what I'm bringing to the table, I know what my recipe is, all that sort of stuff. Because then, whenever I have to make these tough decisions, oh wait, they like this content, oh wait, this got views, oh wait, whatever, it's actually very easy to make the decision what I should do, where I should sacrifice, what I should double down on. And that's hard when you've seen success in one avenue, but I would encourage you to, if you find it not sustainable, if you find it not something you want, then again, as I said before, you are the one who's going to be making the videos, putting all these hours into making the videos, stuck with this channel in 3 years, 5 years, having a library of content to look back on in 3 years, 5 years. So I would say make the choices that make sense to you, because these exact viewers aren't going to be around with you probably in 3 years, but you are actually going to have to do all that work for the next 3 years. So find the fit that makes sense to you. Eric's animation adventures back in the day. Oh dear. Yeah. That's, speaking of like couches, or you know how I said like, what are your couches? What are the things that you're embarrassed about? For the longest time, a lot of these Lego videos were something I was embarrassed about. I was super passionate about it, but I was embarrassed about it. And so it's fun being able to embrace it a little bit more now. It was nice seeing the reaction video. I hope to continue this in the future. Have a good one, everyone. I will do what makes sense for me. Yes. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate you listening. That's one of the things I love about you guys, is that a lot of these questions and things we bring up on the channel are tough. Like, they're the things where it's like, I thought I had it, and then suddenly, like, one question can throw the whole thing off. So the fact that you guys are open-minded about it and are able to think a little bit more big picture with it, I think that's powerful. It's like the whole, like, you are the change maker of your own life. You guys are really like taking accountability for your path and where it's headed, and I think that that's one of the most important decisions we can make in our lives. It affects everything. If we see ourselves as the victim to the algorithm, to the audience, to the niche, to the whatever, or if we go, actually, this is sort of my fault, or actually, I can steer the boat. Actually, I'm in control of this ship. Actually, this is a choice I get to make, and that's hard. It's not always fun, but it's really powerful. I admire how awesome you guys are with that. Thanks, guys, everyone, for being here. I appreciate all of you. I think we're going to be switching to a every other week thing moving forward. I think it makes more sense with I'll get more time to focus on my main videos, and I'll have more videos to talk about and discuss every live stream. If you guys have comments or questions that you want more unpacked during a live stream, let me know. I can prepare some notes for that. I'm learning a lot with my YouTube channel right now. I think you guys can see I'm experimenting with a lot of stuff, and not experimenting in a random way. It's like experimenting in a certain direction that I'm super excited about. And another thing you might have noticed is whenever I talk about something, either I'm doing that same thing I'm learning in that video, or like a couple weeks later, I'll have started implementing that in my content. So for instance, like I talked in the Sudoku video about how can I show more of those real reactions, because that's just universally compelling. And then, a couple weeks later, I posted a video that actually showed my real discovery process, my real thing, my real learning process. And so there's so many examples of this where I talk about doing something and then I'm doing it in the next video. I'm learning, I'm practicing that exact thing in the next video. So it's really fun getting to learn and teach and iterate alongside you, because it's fun. Thousands of views for my African reactions, but only double digits for my other content. Yeah, that makes sense. It's hard. It's tough to let go of those views. It's really tough. But again, yeah. Again, big picture. You'd be surprised. Think about this. Think about a channel you love that you could design yourself. And now imagine, what if that was successful, right? Like, okay, you're doing the React videos, but what if that dream project, that dream direction you were going for, what if that could be just as successful if you put in the right amount of work and patience and self-awareness? Where should you be investing your energy, right? And so that's a lot of the things that's sort of the way I have to trick my brain into doing it. Like a glide cam video where I was teaching how to use some videography equipment is one of the more viewed videos on my YouTube channel, but that doesn't make sense for the direction of this YouTube channel. A video where I talked about an app and mental health was got a lot of views on my YouTube channel in search, but that doesn't make sense for the direction of my YouTube channel. But now I'm like, I used to think, oh, YouTube niche stuff, or where people are watching me move around a digital whiteboard and like taking notes and like having discussions with creators. I was like, that can't really be successful. And then I started seeing examples of other creators who were doing long form content like that, and it was working and it was cool. And I go, wait, what if it is possible? What if I actually need to just do it, go for the thing I actually want, and I can design the success that I actually want? And so I've been working in that direction, and some of those mindset, big picture thinking is really, really helpful. Thank you guys so much for being here. I think I'm going to wrap up the stream right here. I I'm excited to keep learning alongside you. Thank you guys for supporting the content, sharing it, discussing it with other people. And if there's any other ways I can help, let me know. Would love to help however I can. Message me if you notice any creators who are standing out on this platform, who are doing some remarkable things with their storytelling. I love keeping an eye out for those creators and seeing what we can learn from them. Researching them on the side, all that sort of stuff. I really appreciate your feedback and help with that. Thank you guys so much for everything. You are the change maker of your own life. Let's think more deeply. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace. Bye.